The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Workbooks enables you to identify people and leads in your CRM database and group them together in a mailing list so that they can be sent by email en masse. So that's what we want to cover this morning on our Workbooks Hangout session, our little mini training sessions that we run every week, normally on a Thursday, 10 a.m. UK time. So my name is Tim Wilmot, and I'm joined by my colleague, Peter Johnson, and our company, Wizard Systems. We're a leading independent CRM solutions supplier of systems like Workbooks to really help provide simple solutions to allow small and mid-sized companies improve their sales, marketing, and customer service productivity. So we want to get into mailing lists this morning because the CRM, your CRM database shouldn't just be a repository of client information. You should really be making it work hard for you. Over time, you're amassing a lot of wonderful information about your clients and your potential clients, and you're able to, of course, with workbooks, you're able to profile them and categorize them as regards their individual information and information about the company they work for. Why not put that to good use, which is what we want to talk about mailing lists this morning. So this presentation will be about 10 minutes or so, quarter of an hour or so in duration, fairly short, just really an overview of this feature. If you want to get into marketing with workbooks in a lot more detail, and you would benefit from a little bit of help partnering with us, Wizard Systems, we'd love to talk to you. So this morning, this presentation, just an overview of the mailing list capability. The audio part of this presentation is one way only. If you've got a question about this topic or similar, then please pop that into the question box on your meeting control panel. And Pete and I will read those out at the end. Also, this call is being recorded. After the presentation, you will get an email from our system with a link to the recording, so you can play that back whenever you want to, share with your colleagues, and it will appear on our YouTube channel as well, Wizard Systems. You'll see a workbooks playlist up there with all of our other useful workbooks videos to help you get more out of the workbook system. Okay, just a brief mention about our company. So a long-standing CRM solutions provider. We provide any kind of assistance around workbooks. Please call us if you've got any query, question. How can I do this? How can I do that? We're here to help you. We provide extensive training. Obviously, during this sort of lockdown pandemic period, we're doing a lot of that online, predominantly online at the moment. And when it's safe to do so, we've got a couple of training facilities at our Bristol office. When it's safe to do so, we'll return there, but we're all working from home right now. And we offer a fully manned help desk support service. So if you've got a query or question about workbooks, you just contact us or phone us, and we're here to assist you. Okay, let me now pass over to my colleague, Peter, and we'll go through the mailing list functionality. So Pete from his home, I just need to change my screen. Hang on a second. I'll be right with you. Pete will just need to check that we can all see his desktop.
Right, so I've got the same slide as you, Tim. Hopefully you can hear me as well.
Yeah.
Good. So, good morning to everybody. As Tim mentioned, we're going to have a look at producing mailing lists. So mailing lists in workbooks, as Tim did say in the intro there, is an area of workbooks where you can create and generate a list of people and leads, or both, one or the other, and have that list available for whenever you need to do a mailing, en masse mailing, add them to a campaign. As very much a good use of being able to generate these lists, and they can be generated automatically, so they can be a dynamic list based on a report. I'm going to show you some of that this morning, or they could be a static list. I don't know, top 20 customers, and you might want to have a mailing list called top 20 customers and just add those individuals as and when you need to. So let me, I did create on this session a little presentation, a screenshot here, really just to show you where mailing lists fit into perhaps the full kind of marketing cycle for yourselves. So we're going to have a look at this bit just to the left here, mailing lists, and I've actually shown here that you could build that up based on reports, and that could be one or many reports feeding one mailing list. And these mailing lists can be then used for campaigns, which add members to campaigns. Those that are familiar with producing campaigns in workbooks, you'll know what these members are. They're really your target audience. You don't have to go via a campaign. You could push a mailing list direct to a mail shot. So when you do a mail shot, you could select the mailing list that you'd like to target. So an example of this, and it's pretty much the example I'm going to show you this morning, is perhaps creating a mailing list to target for maybe some newsletters. Perhaps you send out a monthly mail shot, a news update information about your organization or your services, and these are derived from mailing lists. Now the example I'm using here is people in my workbooks software that have a preference. I might have a little tick box perhaps in my record that says this person is happy to get a newsletter from us. I may also have any people in the system that have a service contract with me, because I'm going to automatically put them into the newsletter mailing list. And also I want to introduce leads with a preference of getting some newsletters from me. So I can create mailing lists that have got all of these reports feeding it, one or many at a time. So then I can use that to maybe produce my marketing campaign, which has got all of my monthly mail shots in it. So I keep an eye on my plan for going forward and producing those mail shots. So let's take a look at an example of this. Really simple to do. In the true style of making a presentation, I've prepared a couple of reports already. So if we establish that the reports that I've got in here are finding all of the people that have a checkbox ticked for receiving a newsletter, they're happy to do so, and also all of the leads that are happy to get a newsletter from me. So to do this, I'm going to actually just start at the point of start marketing and mailing lists. You can see here I've got that facility, and here are some mailing lists that I've already got in place, and you can see each of these and how many members they've got, and you can actually go and select and use these for other purposes. But I'm going to choose to create a new mailing list. Now this will run me through a little wizard. The first part of this wizard is to name this mailing list. I'm going to call this Newsletters 2020. Oh, there we go. And you can see over here, I have some different methods for creating this mailing list. I can create a dynamic mailing list, and this is going to ask me for reports. I can create a copy of a mailing list. So if I've got one that's already built and very similar to the one that I want, I could create that, give it a new name. You know, maybe I do this and I want to create my newsletters for 2021. I could copy that for that mailing list. And then I could create an empty one and just add people or reports to it at a later date. For this example, though, I'm going to choose create a dynamic mailing list. And the next part of the wizard is asking me which report I would like to use. Now, at this point, you choose one report, and then subsequently you can add other reports to this mailing list, and I'll show you that. So I've helpfully called my report newsletter people. So this is all of the people. This is a report of all of the people, I should say, that have that little option in my database selected that they'd like to receive a newsletter. And of course, if one of my users decides to remove that little checkbox, they're no longer in the list and it will update the mailing list. The next bit here is really from that report, which column, and all of these do actually, which column denotes that it's a person record. Now, you might have a report that's looking at maybe activities and all sorts of different columns, and what you want to do is choose the one that relates to the record of the person in this example. So I'm going to just choose name, but I could have chosen any number of those. So at this point, I'm going to choose add members. And you can see here, it's produced a mailing list. This mailing list has a name. It also has already now, because I've added this report to it, it has 446 members in it. And that's all of the people with that newsletter option that I've selected in the report. Now, you do get the chance down here to make this refresh on a regular basis, because that report currently has 446 members in it. However, I might add some extra people or remove people, and I want this mailing list to be updated on a regular basis. So I'm going to choose this auto refresh, and I'm going to make sure I refresh it every single day, maybe early in the morning. So every day when I start using my mailing list, I know it's up to date from first thing this morning. So at that point, I'm going to save it. But I also want to make sure that this newsletters for 2020 mailing list has my leads in it. So I'm going to add another report to this mailing list. By going to the reports tab, I'm going to add a report. I'm going to go and select my conveniently named newsletter leads list here, report, and select which field in that report recognizes the sales lead as a record, and then choose save and close. So you can see currently I have 446 members in here. If I go back here and refresh my members list, you can see here it will most likely up now to 739, which is the total number of people I would like to target for my newsletters for 2020. So really easy to create this mailing list and others, and then you can have this as a library of lists. Of course, I did mention that you might want to add the people manually to this, so you can go into that mailing list, and in the members tab you can physically add a particular person just by doing a quick search for that person and add them to the list also. Okay, so in terms of producing the mailing list, we've done that, and then maybe you would like to use it during your Mailshot process. So for those that are familiar with Mailshots, you go to marketing and Mailshots here, and I'm going to choose to create a new Mailshot. And again, this is wizard driven, so I'm going to do a standard workbooks Mailshot. I do have this demo system linked to a GatorMail account, so those that are familiar with GatorMail would use this option, but in this example I'm going to do a standard Mailshot using my workbooks and my standard email domain. And you can see here I can go and select some recipients that are in the mailing list, and I called that mailing list newsletters 2020, and you can see it brings in a good number of those records, but it does remove, so these won't be included in my Mailshot, 66 that have actually got the opt-out have the email option selected, so they don't want to, they've unsubscribed previously perhaps, or somebody's marked them as such. And then you can just go through this wizard, choose your Mailshot template, and then select to send it, and so forth. So you can see there, it's really easy to select once you've got those Mailshots in place. Wherever you are in the marketing area, you can produce a list. You could perhaps even go to a campaign and add them as members. So again, I would, in my marketing, go to marketing campaigns and choose to create a new campaign, and newsletters this year, I'll call that, and I might put in some other information, but you can see currently this is just a blank campaign, and I'd like to add members to this campaign. Perhaps you're doing hard copy mailings as well to these people, and to do that, I'm going to go to this mailing list tab and add a mailing list called Newsletters 2020, and I add them to a campaign and choose a status, choose add, and then OK. And in just a few moments, this campaign will update, and those members will be updated into the members tab because I've added that mailing list to that campaign. Okay, so I think I'm done there, Tim, in showing that. Have you got anything to add to that? Any comments, Tim? Or have we got any questions yet?
Yeah, a couple of questions have come through. So question from Monica, what does the preference center tick box do?
That's possibly the preference center in the excuse me, in the mailing list when you create it. If I go to new mailing list here, you can define one of your or many of your mailing lists as a preference center option, and this is the tick box I think Monica's referring to. If you tick this, it then if you do a mail shot via workbooks, there's automatically an unsubscribe option at the bottom of the page, which the recipient may choose to select, unsubscribe, and if it's from a mailing list that has a preference center tick box, they will be presented with a preference center standard built into workbooks, and it is in here. This is an example of it. So you'd have your logo on here, but any of the tick boxes here are any mailing lists that have been marked as a preference option. So it would allow them to remove themselves automatically from that mailing list, and they would no longer be in there. So quite a useful little feature. It is quite static, this. You add those preference centers. You can't really change the look and feel of this. You may be using Gator Mail, so you might want to take a slightly different approach to that, but I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so a really good way of pinpointing or allowing your customers to choose specifically what mailings you do if you've got different messaging going out there, different types of contacts in your CRM database, rather than just sort of one blanket mailing process that you're doing. And Denise is asking, just see if I can read it out. I don't have the option for Mailshots. Do I have to buy this?
No, it actually comes packaged with your CRM, Workbook CRM. It may be that either you don't have the capabilities, so ask your administrator to make sure that you can. It may also be that you haven't switched the module on within your implementation. So if I go to Start, Configuration, and if I go into Account Settings, License and Modules, you might find under Modules, you don't have, I think it's in here, Yeah, there we go. Mailshots. You might not have this switched on, therefore that would override even if you've got the capability, but you need to switch that particular feature on if you haven't already.
Okay, that's it, Pete. There's no more questions there. So thanks very much, everyone, for your time. Hope that's been of use to you. Watch out for the email with the link to the recording. It will also be up on our YouTube channel as well. If you've got any suggestions for future training sessions like this, we hold these sort of mini training sessions every week on a Thursday. But if you've got any really good ideas for future topics that you think would be of interest to your colleagues or other workbooks users, please drop us a line. I'm Tim at wizard-systems.com, or Peter is Peter at wizard-systems.com. But thanks very much indeed, and we'll catch up with you same time next week. Bye-bye.